Category 4 Hurricane Lee continues on a very slow-moving path toward the northwest as a very powerful Category 4 hurricane right now, with maximum sustained winds right now by our estimates of 135 miles per hour and a central pressure of 949 millibars. Storm reached Category 4 by around 4:45, 5 o'clock earlier today, and we are thinking it's a little bit stronger by now after the National Hurricane Center hasn't issued any new advisory since then. We are thinking that it's probably gained a little bit more strength since then, based on not just based on its satellite, but by the fact that this storm is a rapidly intensifying system. The National Hurricane Center expects that this storm will reach Category 5 strength either later tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'd say that's a pretty likely case at this point, and the storm may very well intensify beyond Category 5 as the storm continues its quest for power here in the Atlantic Ocean. Getting toward the forecast models, you can see that the storm does indeed get that rapid intensification over the next couple of days, especially north of Puerto Rico, where it should be around its strongest. Don't mind the other storm on off to the east of Lee. That's going to be Hurricane Margot. Whatever. The storm will then continue to travel north, again threatening the Atlantic Canada, passing way too close to the New England coast at this point. What the forecast model is saying, calling for a extremely catastrophic landfall in Nova Scotia by a storm that should be around Category 2 or even 3 equivalent by then in terms of sustained winds or frequent wind gusts. And then the storm, as powerful as ever, continuing through Atlantic Canada, completely just devastating the region. And then moving off toward the colder waters of the North Atlantic Ocean, along with Hurricane Margot. They're kind of pairing up into a same system, and eventually the extratropical low, which is the remnants of Lee, seems to eat up Margot as it heads toward the UK. And just long-range models. Come to note, long-range models have been saying for a few days, calling on this system looks like to be another significant hurricane developing just off to the east of the Bahamas. Don't call any solid certainty on that yet, but this appears to be becoming a likely scenario. We will reach into this potential a little later on, once it becomes a bit more likely. So don't be too concerned about that right now, but be informed that is becoming an increasingly likely possibility. That is likely, the likelihood is getting higher as days go on. So just note that storm possibility down there, that hurricane possibility down there. We'll get into that a few days later once things are a bit more certain. But moving back to Hurricane Lee here, looking at the tropical tidbits analysis, they have the storm 155 miles per hour. Which is certainly could be possible in the next advisory, the National Hurricane Center. Either it being 155 or even getting to Category 5. They're calling for this storm to be a lot stronger at 155 miles per hour with a central pressure of 933 millibars. That could be possible, but we don't think it's quite there yet. I don't think it's we and me personally even don't really think it's quite there yet. It is probably not that strong, but it could become that strong very soon in the coming couple or few hours or so as we go forward. And here's why I think that. The sea surface temperature is right in front of you. I mean, look at this. 30 degrees Celsius in a large area of the Caribbean and North Atlantic Ocean in the tropics. The storm is going to be traveling straight along this line that I am about to draw. It's going to be going pretty much there, and then it's going to turn north. It's going straight through those 30 degree Celsius water temperatures. So this storm has nothing standing in its way. Not even wind shear. This storm is currently not fighting wind shear whatsoever with the storm right now. It is under an area of wind shear that is between 15 and 20 knots. The storm is not likely to run into any of this wind shear whatsoever. This pocket is likely going to get pushed north or pushed away whatsoever. There's a very thin pocket that probably won't even stay. National Hurricane Center and models alike have shown with certainty that this storm will not be having anything to stop it from reaching Category 5 strength. So I expect by tomorrow morning that we will see Category 5 strength. So, that being said, we'll be dealing with quite a storm by the next update. Let's get a quick look here at the National Hurricane Center, what they're saying. Here it is, 130 miles per hour movement, northwest at 15 miles an hour. And obviously, all the M's, as we know, stand for major hurricane. And we're going to go straight to the interactive cone map. To see, I want to give you plot by plot what these wind speeds are forecasted by the National Hurricane Center. 160 by tomorrow morning, 165 later on in the afternoon hours, and then down to 160. So in the next 24 hours is its most likely area of peak intensity, but it holds a powerful state, only slowly weakening as it continues to head in a general westward direction or so. And taking a look at the models and intensity here, it may even go higher than 165. A lot of these models, look how many models calling Cat 5 here. Most of them calling Category 5 peak. A lot of them calling for something higher than 165 miles per hour, much higher. That could be possible. That could actually happen. And here on the APS ensembles here, generally we have that pass about 500 miles or so east of New England. However, we still have an alarming consistency of models here, thinking that it's going to pass much closer. That would be very devastating for the northeast coast of the U.S. And for New Hampshire, which is what Ironside Meteorological Division or Ironside Meteo is pretty much focused on here, which is New Hampshire. Although we do, although I'm sure if you've noticed, we do lean into some to Atlantic tropical cyclones. But just Atlantic. We're really watching the system because there still seems to be some uncertainty as to how close to the East Coast, particularly New England, it will come. Yeah. I watched News 9 at 5, and their models put it a lot closer to us here in the Northeast than the GFS ensembles and everything else have been saying. So we are very much watching this storm very closely because there seems to be still some uncertainty as to where it might go after its peak and after it makes that turn north. But also, how strong will the storm get? So we're gonna call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon and into the evening probably. With that being said, check out Jarl Dylan. It's my other YouTube channel. I will probably be putting on some storm videos tomorrow, as we are expecting a major severe thunderstorm outbreak tomorrow afternoon into the evening. So check out that. The link is in the channel description if you view that. Have a good night.